What is happening there, Reject Nation? Greg and John here. Today, we are going to watch from new Rockstars their Shang-Chi ending explained post-credit scene breakdown. Because yes, we did see Shang-Chi, and do we know what's really going on? Not really. So, it would be very helpful to get one of the master theorist opinions on what's happening here. And I'm sure he'll have much better insight than both of our minds combined. Obviously, spoilers in here if you haven't seen Shang-Chi yet, but hey, let's see what's going on.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric Boss, and Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings changed the game of the MCU in ways that'll knock you sideways, like Abomination versus Wong. Spoiler warning before we continue, because I'm gonna break down this movie's finale and post-credit scenes. Go watch this movie, and I'll be here to help you unpack what the F just happened. Okay, Shang-Chi has two post-credit scenes, but first a quick recap. Shang-Chi, after 10 years of being separated from his crime lord father, Wenwu, is dragged back into the Ten Rings compound alongside his sister Xiaoling. Wenwu uses his children to find the hidden kingdom of Ta Lo, guided by what he thinks is the voice of his deceased wife, Zhang Li, to rescue her soul from a sealed cave. But Wenwu is actually being manipulated by an otherworldly soul sucker beast, who in the past had been fended off by a dragon known as the Great Protector. Wenwu unwittingly opens the seal to unleash the mega soul sucker into the realm, but Shang-Chi reclaims the rings from his father, and with the help of the Great Protector, the warriors of Ta Lo, combined with those of the Ten Rings and Katie's archery, Shang-Chi slays the monster. And all this is recap to Shang-Chi and Katie's skeptical friends over drinks, but then my favorite party crashing visual effect in the MCU, a portal opens, and in comes Wong, whom we saw earlier facing Abomination in a friendly cage fight in Macau.
I gotta say, that's a great recap of the whole movie right there. Yeah, just looking over the visuals again, I mean, that dragon fight at the end is something magical to behold. And then looking at the other cast of characters too, just reminds me of like just how solid this cast is. We're going to be doing a spoiler talk live stream on Monday, giving enough time for everyone to watch this movie who can see it this weekend. I know some spots in the world they can't see it yet. I mean, just looking over all that, I'm like, damn, I'm excited to watch this movie again. Yeah, this is so cool.
Now, it isn't clear, but Abomination might be getting weekend passes after he was detained following his battle with Hulk in Harlem, or maybe Abomination is Wong's sparring partner, whom he doesn't mention to Bruce Banner, because the first rule of Wong's Fight Club is you don't talk about hanging out with your friend's enemy. Anyway, Wong brings Shang-Chi and Katie to the Sanctum Sanctorum since they have a lot to talk about, and that brings us to our first of two post-credit scenes.
Here we go.
Wong uses his magic to analyze the Ten Rings alongside Shang-Chi and Katie while on a conference call with Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, and Bruce Banner. They're on one of those hollow projection group chats, similar to the way the Avengers checked in with each other in Endgame. Banner looks noticeably older, and he's back in human form from his seemingly permanent Smart Hulk form from Endgame, but his arm remains in a sling, so the injury he sustained from snapping the Stark Gauntlet, which left him in a sling in Endgame's final minutes, is still affecting him physically.
Okay.
Remember, the Ancient One was able to push Banner's human soul out of his Hulk body, so maybe Banner's return to human form was some kind of magic offered by the sorcerers Wong and Doctor Strange, something we could learn more about in She-Hulk, along with, by the way, whatever Wong's friendship with Abomination is all about, or maybe something we could learn more about in Spider-Man No Way Home, since Doctor Strange seems in a weird mood to grant his Avenger buddies random favors.
That is interesting because it seems like Banner's back in his form, like his human form, but yet Abomination stays in the Abomination form. I thought at one point we would see Emil Blonsky, Tim Roth, just had his human form, but he never did switch back, which I thought was a little bit of a weird note.
Maybe that's their punishment for him, is you got to spend the rest of your life as Abomination.
Maybe they're trying to figure something out because Abomination seemed like really disheartened, and Tim Roth did come back to do some voice work for him, so I don't see why they couldn't have gotten Tim Roth at all to be in here, but who knows? Who knows?
Danvers confirms that the tech isn't Chitauri or any alien tech she has seen. Chitauri, of course, being the warriors of Thanos' army, led by Loki in the first Avengers movie, tech that was later repurposed by Vulture's crew in Spider-Man Homecoming. Banner says the rings aren't made of vibranium, the metal of all of Black Panther's tech and what Captain America's shield is made out of, and that these rings are way older than 1,000 years old. Now, in the comics, the Ten Rings are ancient alien McLuhan tech that crashed to Earth in a spacecraft, and it was from this wreckage that the Mandarin Zhengzhou, the character Wenwu is based on, stole them. But in the film, it said that Wenwu might have found these rings in a crater or a tomb, but it is not confirmed. In comics, each ring contains the soul of a cosmic warrior, and each has different abilities. Abilities that are not shown in the film. All 10 rings seem to give off the same powers of strength enhancement and being slung as powerful projectiles. But these more mystical qualities are explored here because Wong zooms in to show a pulsing beacon summoning something from afar, something threatening to change the MCU as we know it.
There's no going back.
So the question now is, who or what are these 10 rings summoning? If the MCU maintains their McLuhan origins, that threat could be from another planet or from another galaxy. And if we're looking for ancient beings from the stars, Galactus could be on his way in the MCU.
Okay.
We could also say the Celestials are coming, because we know they're being summoned back to Earth for some emergence in Eternals, but I suspect that that movie might take place in the 7 days after Endgame, which might set it before Shang-Chi, especially since that movie's release date was supposed to be before Shang-Chi originally, but I cannot give firm answers on the timeline yet. But I will say, based on the way this movie explored Ta Lo, its magic, and its relationship to other realms, I think this threat is more likely to come from another dimension. In the comics, Ta Lo is one of the God realms, a small pocket dimension adjacent to Earth. In the film, it's also the Nexus gateway to an additional realm of the Soul Suckers, with Lovecraftian design elements, notably Cthulhu or Nyarlathotep, who telepathically invades mortals' minds, much like this beast does to Wenwu. You could see it similar to how Thor said in Avengers that Fury's work with the Tesseract signaled to all the realms that Earth is ready for a higher form of war. And this beacon could be summoning whatever interdimensional threat that Doctor Strange and Wong will face in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
How come now, though, it's summoning it? Because hadn't Wenwu had the rings for such
so
a long time, like
Yeah.
centuries, it sort of seemed like.
They stretched out his life.
And yet now it's actually, is it like, did it have something to do with Wenwu's connection
Or is
to
it-
the 10 rings?
Yeah, is it because Shang-Chi takes them over and that's the key to the transmission or something? Does it have to be like a chosen one, pure of heart?
I love how it's like in the title, Legend of the Ten Rings, yet we never really learn where they come from.
Yeah,
This whole time,
absolutely, yeah.
They get you so focused on the actual narrative at hand, you don't even realize till the post-credits scene, like, oh yeah, we never actually learn what these are or where they're really from. They've just been some mystical power they've been wielding over its immediacy, but not really knowing why they are what they are. It's fascinating stuff.
We've speculated Shuma Gorath, or one of the Elder Gods. The fact that the same interdimensional tentacle monster just made a second appearance in this week's episode of What If after the pilot makes a pretty strong case that one of these many angled ones could be the threat on the horizon, along with perhaps other devilish mystic entities we saw hints of in episode 4, but we should also consider Chthon, the ancient demonic author of the Darkhold, and in the comics, the one who first cursed Wanda Maximoff with her sorcery, or figures like Nightmare, or Mephisto. I only bring up because it is interesting that in this movie, this voice promised you, quote, your greatest desires, implying some kind of Faustian manipulation. But maybe a sign that Marvel, rather than going the strictly Christian biblical take on this character as in the comics, might instead reintroduce him as a more non-denominational evil with forms specific to all cultures.
You know what I love? I'm just more fascinated with what must be going on with Voss behind the scenes, because he seems really disheartened by the crap that he got with the whole Mephisto train with WandaVision. He's right about Kang, and then now this Mephisto conversation come up with Spider-Man No Way Home, it's come up with the Doctor Strange and the What If, and now even with Shang-Chi, it's linking to a lot of Mephisto clues, and the argument in case for Mephisto has never been stronger. God,
It's
this
just the long game. It's just the
I
long game.
really hope it's the long game, and so that way I can just cheer for Eric Voss the day this actually happens, because no one is championing it more than him. He's managed to find more ways to clue it into things that sound like Mephisto.
And perhaps entities like this mega soul sucker and Dormammu and Eliath and Loki were all buffer predators kept at bay by protectors within our reality. But now that these border beasts have been slayed and the walls have been shaken, even more dangerous predators from beyond have arrived to exploit the Scarlet Witch, Peter Parker, and Loki's destabilization of reality in the MCU in order to feast on that madness. The good news is now Shang-Chi will join that fight because as Carol Danvers jets after an emergency call, maybe some threat she'll have to deal with in the Marvels, Banner jokes how he never got Danvers' number. I guess only Nick Fury has that pager access. And they tell Shang-Chi, welcome to the circus, an informal invitation to the Avengers. And Shang-Chi, Katie, and Wong celebrate by singing karaoke, including Hotel California, which was Katie's Art of Confusion song mentioned earlier in the movie.
I really love that post-credit scene a lot because it feels like a true scene.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just like some commercial for
It's
something.
got an actual dynamic to it that applies to the movie while setting stuff up.
Yeah, it's like there's a mystery and tension, the informal invite to Shang-Chi, but then having this like turnaround there with Wong celebrating with them, which ties directly into the movie and the humorous aspects of that Hotel California song and them singing karaoke together, just bringing it back to even after all the mystical, fantastical experiences that Katie and Shang-Chi have gone through, they're still the human beings that are relatable at heart. You know?
Absolutely.
It's a really well done post-credit scene, more than just like little tease of what's
It's
to
an actual
come.
character beat, yeah.
Sets up a lot of questions and a lot of theories, but very, very effective.
Now, the second post-credit scene catches up with Xialing, whom Katie and Shang-Chi believe to be dismantling the Ten Rings after the battle, but instead she takes over her father's throne and expands the Ten Rings operation. At her sides are Razor Fist and John, who ran her Macau club.
Roddy
And in front of
Chang.
them, various aides trade paperwork, perhaps planning the epic fighting tournament we thought we might see in this film. You'll notice among these training warriors are a new group of female warriors sparring with the males, and street art covering the walls of the compound, and then the title flashes on screen, The Ten Rings Will Return. You may notice how the framing and tone here does evoke the post-credit scene of The Mandalorian Season 2, in which Boba Fett usurped the throne of Jabba the Hutt, occupied by Bib Fortuna, setting up Boba Fett's upcoming series, The Book of Boba Fett, making me wonder if the Ten Rings could appear next in a Disney
the Book
Plus
of Boba
series
Fett.
in which the MCU's best warriors are
my mind
matched
went.
up against each other in a grand fighting tournament. Like Wong versus Abomination could have been just a taste of it, baby. She-Hulk versus B-15, White Vision versus Red Guardian, a melee of all the Loki variants, a melee among all the Peter Parkers, and the
don't get
winners
me-
face off. Finish
Don't
him.
get me no excited, man. Don't tease me too much, man, because I'd be way too excited about that.
I would lose my mind.
Yeah, that sounds way too awesome, dude. That's
Like just that montage alone got me in it.
just like, oh, what a cool show that would be. Who would not want to watch
do
that?
it.
Doesn't even have a good story, just good fight scene.
You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at EAVoss. Follow and subscribe to New Rockstars. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Thank you so much, EA Voss. That explained a lot, and it got me more excited for the
didn't
feature,
know.
man. Holy crap. We probably won't be around tomorrow for the Easter egg breakdown, unfortunately. Going out of town for a little bit. It's my birthday. Shooting this on my birthday. I feel like we've earned a little bit of a weekend away for just a tiny bit. But guys, thank you so much for being here. Subscribe, click that notification bell, hit that like button, and hey, let's do a Sarah Campbell, I just want to say thank you so much for being part of our Patreon page. And then you actually joined us on my birthday live stream, and that meant a lot to me. Even though you're already supporting us here, you would support us on the live stream as well. So Sarah, you've been one hell of a patron to us, one hell of a supporter. Happy to call you a friend. I wish you watched these movies so that way you would actually catch these videos spontaneously instead of waiting for the link to arrive at the end of every month. Regardless, your support means more than you know. I hope we get to have you stick around permanently, forever. That no matter what financial difficulties come your way, if you get robbed, house burns down, whatever it may be, that you go, priorities, Patron eject. Don't forget those words.
Ensure your pledge.